Welcome back to Cougar Creations. My name is Colton and I'm here joined with Kevin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I had a good weekend. What about you?
I'm doing good. I had a good weekend. Well, we got a great show for you today. Today we get to talk to the Executive Director of the Kenneth Butler Memorial Soup Kitchen.
That's right. Now let's get on to it so we can learn about what they do for our community. Hi, I'm Kevin, and I'm here outside of the Kenneth Butler Memorial Soup Kitchen, and today we're going to be talking to their executive director to learn a little bit more about what they do with our community. Hi, I'm Kevin Wells, and I'm here at the Kenneth Butler Memorial Soup Kitchen. I'm here with Lyndsey Rea, the executive director here at the Soup Kitchen, and we're going to learn a little bit more about the Soup Kitchen, its history, what goes on behind the scenes. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, thank you for asking. So could you tell me a little bit more about the history of Kenneth Butler's Soup Kitchen?
Well, the Soup Kitchen was an idea that kind of began in 2008 by Thomas Williams. He was a lawyer in Greenfield, and he was a member of Greenfield Christian Church. And I was actually a member of that church the day that he came in and said, I want to start a soup kitchen, and this is where I want to start. And the building is like literally across the street, so who's willing to help?
That's really cool. So being new, what's it like filling a position previously filled by someone that was held for so long?
I'm not going to lie on that. It's actually really hard because Jill was a staple of the community for a really long time. So when people think of the soup kitchen, they automatically think of her. And her vision for this place was always Grandma's house. And that's absolutely the same feel that I want. I want anybody to be able to come in here and feel like they are at home here. But also at the same time, I've had this conversation with a couple of our patrons. Jill was like Grandma. I'm like Mom. And Mom pushes you a little bit. She wants you to be a little bit better because she knows you have the capabilities to be better. So while I want you to hang out here and I want you to feel like this is home, I don't want you to make this home and stop here.
Could you tell me a bit about your background and what some of that could have been used to help you run the soup kitchen?
I have a pretty extensive background in culinary arts. I have a culinary degree, was a front of house manager at Ruby Tuesdays in Anderson. I ran 7 units out at Indianapolis Airport for about 5 years, and I have worked in assisted living as the director of dining. So I've dabbled in a little bit of every aspect of food service. I think that actually helped me probably excel here way more than I ever would have in any other field because I know a little bit about each area. So I can take something from each area that I have learned in medical and commercial, multiple different aspects of food service that I could bring here and actually just kind of form them all together to one job.
That's a lot of skills to have to put all towards this big project.
It is a large project, that is for sure.
Like you said before, that you want this place to feel like, Grandma's or Mom's house. What would you say is the mission or goal of the soup kitchen?
Well, our mission, I don't know if you can see it, but the mission is actually to serve the sheep of Jesus Christ. So basically our mission is to make sure that nobody goes hungry. If you need a hot meal, come inside and get one for lunch, get one for dinner. And I believe, don't quote me on it, but I do believe that we are the only soup kitchen in the state that actually serves 2 meals a day, Monday through Friday.
It's really good of you guys. I appreciate being able to, rely on you guys like that.
We enjoy it. We know our people by name. We know a lot of their stories. Sit down, hang out with them a little bit, and get to know them.
That's good. Could you guys tell me about Kenneth Butler and what significance he holds in the soup kitchen?
Kenneth Butler was a firefighter, and he did a lot of volunteer work, but basically any person that would be hungry, they knew to go to the fire station because Kenneth Butler was going to feed you. And that's kind of how he got started as the memorial to him, because that was kind of his thing, make sure nobody goes hungry.
All right. How do you guys decide on what meals to serve on what days?
So on Fridays, I sit down and I know what we have in our refrigerators on a Friday afternoon. And I will sit down and I'll make the menu out for the next week. I say this very tentatively because it depends on what kind of donations come in. There's some donations that'll come in from on-site catering where they've done a catering, but they have pans of food left over. But since it's already been made, it has to be served within a certain time period. So I do plan my menu out, but also at the same time, it's a tentative menu that has to be able to be adjusted or fluctuate to whatever donation comes in.
All right. Could you describe the process of how you guys serve those meals each day?
Well, we have a group of people that usually come in at about 8:30 in the morning, and they get started on the lunch service. The way that we've been doing things is that I like to have their items that they're making for the day prepped up for them. So the shift before them is going to chop up all the vegetables and chop up all the fruit and slice tomatoes, slice cucumbers. They do all of the prep work for the next shift. So that way when they walk in the door, all of their stuff is already prepped for them. They just kind of have to put it together. For the most part, they kind of have free reign on what flavors they want to, these are your ingredients. This is what you're going to make. You can make whatever flavors out of it you want.
All right. How many volunteers would you say you guys get roughly, and what are their roles?
So we have over 200 volunteers on our roster. On a regular shift, we'll have probably about 5 in the kitchen, maybe 1 or 2 that's rolling silverware, dating things for us, putting things away, washing dishes. On Wednesdays, we have a whole Walmart crew, is what we call them, where some of them go up to Walmart and pick things up. Some of them are here to unload the trucks when they get back, and they just go through all of the items that are in the box, make sure it's stuff that's still able to be served, make sure it's not way past expiration, and then they get all put into our refrigerators where I get to go through and this is what we need to serve. We've got an overabundance of chicken.
And what's the process they have to go through to be a volunteer here?
Process to be a volunteer is that you have to express the interest, in which case I then make the introduction to my volunteer coordinator, Chris. Chris kind of does an over the phone interview, and then she has you come in and explain basically everything that we do at the kitchen. Because if there's not one thing that you think that you like to do, I'm sure that we can find something for you to do. And then it's also an interview process for us at that point, where we're interviewing you to see if you like it here, but you're also interviewing us to see if you like us and want to hang out. So she does that. She walks them all around and goes through each job so that they know what they would be doing. And then if they've decided that they really want to be a volunteer, then she tries to work them into the schedule.
All right. What are some challenges that you guys face with running the soup kitchen?
Well, I can tell you on Monday morning we walked in and we have a basement downstairs. We are right around Potts Ditch and Brandywine Creek flooded, so that meant our basement flooded too. And we keep some of our food downstairs, some of our canned items. So we lost some product. That was a huge challenge because it's not just okay, we have to throw all this food away. It's we have to go through all of these things. Is it salvageable? Is it not salvageable? We have to call out call our insurance company. We have to call out a remediation company so that they can dry the downstairs out so that there's nothing that grows or any mold or anything like that. So there's always challenges.
But it sounds like you guys have pretty good strategies when it comes to facing
I have a great team, between my board and my employees and the volunteers, that if I didn't have those, this wouldn't be possible.
That's great. What are some ways that you guys spread awareness about the soup kitchen, get the message out there of what you guys are doing?
That's one thing that, as I'm new to the role, so it's kind of one of the things that we're working on. We recently just closed the doors for all them being able to come in all day, because it was getting to a point where I was out in the dining room kind of monitoring things so much that I wasn't really able to get out into the community. So we closed the doors on March 24th, where they just come in from 11 to 1 and 5 to 7 right now. We were waiting for warmer weather, so wanted to make sure that nobody was standing outside in the cold. But I do a lot of, I go to Chamber of Commerce meetings where I get to network with a lot of different businesses that help support the soup kitchen. And then I also go to the System of Care meetings, which helps me network with all of the mental health and all of the aspects of care that we have in Hancock County. And I get to network with them too. And the Community Foundation helps out quite a bit, where they have a ton of networking experiences that you can go. And to be quite honest, I've lived in Greenfield for most of my life, so I know a lot of people.
You just get to that point where you just know everybody.
Pretty much. I was sitting at my son's baseball game yesterday and like, know them, know them, know them, know them, know them. Who's that?
What kind of impact are you guys hoping to leave on the people that come into the soup kitchen?
I wouldn't say necessarily the impact on the people that come into the soup kitchen, but just the impact in general. The direction that we're trying to go right now is to raise awareness, not necessarily for us, which we do want to raise awareness for ourselves, but also for the resources that Hancock County has, because there are a ton that not very many people know about. There's literally 300 nonprofits in Hancock County. And between those 300 nonprofits, a lot of them are dealing in care of people that need it. So that's what we're working on right now. Is we got a ton of donations around Christmas time that was clothing items. And while we completely understand why we would be an area where people would donate clothing items, we don't have the space for clothing items. But you know what's right behind us is God's Open Arms. And God's Open Arms feeds, they take canned foods, but they also accept all clothing donations. And when somebody comes in here and says that they need some pants, I just make a phone call and say, hey, I've got somebody in here that needs some clothes. Do you mind if I send them over? They walk right over there and can go get some clothes.
It's good that they're so close. They don't need to
It's
walk
awesome
far.
that they're so close.
How do you guys account for like specific food needs? Let's say like someone has a nut allergy or something. How would you be able to account for that?
So what we've made pretty clear, because there's 7 allergens, and we are a donation only, so we can't really accommodate to specific food needs, and we do let them know ahead of time that there are things that could have possibly come into contact with your food. However, if there's somebody that we know is allergic to dairy, we're gonna make sure that they have a meal that doesn't have dairy in it. Like, we don't make specific meals for them, but we monitor who's coming up, and then we kind of scale things back and put more of something else on instead.
That makes sense. What are some of the businesses or organizations that donate food to you guys? Could you tell me a bit more about them?
So we partner with Gleaners, and Gleaners is downtown. It's a food bank. And what they do is they make connections for us so that big name companies are our biggest donations. So we've got Walmart, Dollar General, we had Big Lots before Big Lots closed down. And then the ones around town, like Chick-fil-A is one of our biggest contributors, and I promise you they all know when it's Chick-fil-A Day. And we know that they know it's Chick-fil-A Day too, because we get twice the business. So Mozzie's Pizza comes and delivers pizza on Fridays so that they can take home pizza for the weekend. It really kind of varies. Sometimes Baumgars hosts a couple of things every so often, and for their staff, and whatever they have left over, they come bring it over, and on-site catering. So it's a lot of different places put together. And it really just depends on if there are things that they have that they're in overabundance of that they, or I've had people from different restaurants be like, we ordered the wrong thing, so I can't do anything with this, here you go.
How has the demand for your guys' services changed over the years?
Okay, I can't specifically speak on what it was like previously. I can just look back at numbers, and I can tell you when my daughter used to volunteer here, they would serve 30 to 40 people and they would go. I do know that after COVID hit, they started going to more to-go options, and with the to-go option being where you can really just come in and nobody really has to know that you were here. You can come in, you can get your food, you can go home. That has increased our amount quite a bit. I'd say probably double. We're doing over, like Wednesday we did 107 for lunch.
Wow. So what advice would you give to someone that's interested in volunteering at the soup kitchen?
Come down and check it out. Come down and see what it's like and make sure that this is what you really want to do. But we have a lot of fun here. It's like a culinary class, to be quite honest. They get to do culinary class and have fun and hang out with their friends while they're doing it. So,
all right. How could someone support Kenneth Butler's Memorial Soup Kitchen and their mission or goal?
There's multiple different ways that you could do that. Word of mouth is always going to be the first one. If people don't know that we're here, then they don't know that we're a resource that's able to be used. Thankfully, we're getting a huge mural on the side of our building in June, so that at least people will know what our building is. The other way would be donations. That can be canned foods, that can be applesauces, like little applesauces. We have a sack lunch program that, because we are closed on Saturday and Sunday, they sign up for the sack lunches and they can come and get their lunches on Friday, and that way they're fed for Saturday and Sunday. So you can donate food or you can donate money. But mostly word of mouth is probably going to be our best bet so that people at least know that we're here.
All right. Well, thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you.
And thank you guys. That concludes our time here at Kenneth Butler Memorial Soup Kitchen. I just want to thank Lyndsey Rea again for talking with me, and thanks for watching.
That's about all the time we have for today. Thanks to Lyndsey Rea for letting us sit down and talk with her.
And thanks to you guys for watching.
Have a Cougar-tastic day.
Want to learn more? Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and make sure to subscribe and smash that like button on YouTube for future videos.